Now let's call the setup function. The first thing that we need to do is initialize the serial communication at a specific baud rate, the same baud rate on our Arduino board. Then we need to set the timeout for the serial communication. It will be 500 milliseconds, so half a second is enough. Then let's call the setup Wi-Fi function. Let's make sure that we have the right name. This is it, setup Wi-Fi. After that, we need to call the client.setServer to pass the server parameters, and we'll take MQTT server link and MQTT port as input. Then we must call the function reconnect. Now let's verify our code. Great, we don't have any issues. Now we need to define a new function between the setup and loop. Let's call it publish. So void publish serial data. Now this function will take serial data as input, and after taking serial data as input, it will make sure that the MQTT server is connected using an if statement. Now inside the if statement, we'll write if client.connected Now if it's not connected, call the reconnect function to connect it. Now once it's connected, what we need to do is publish the data. So publish, and the publish will take the MQTT serial publish channel as input, and it will also take the serial data from here, and this is already defined here, serial publish channel, and you can change it to your own publish channel, but for now let's go back. Okay, now client.publish, the client will publish this serial data to this channel after making sure that the MQTT server is connected. Now this is the main goal from this function. Inside the void loop, we are going to call this function. So inside the void loop, we will ask, first let's call a client.loop function. Now we will ask if the serial data available is more than 0 or above 0. It means that we have incoming serial data, and in that case, if we have incoming serial data, what we need to do is take the serial data and store it in a variable. So we will define a character, let's call it buffer data, and you can make it, this will be an array of characters and its size will be 510. You can change the size to whatever fits your need. After doing this, we are going to use a function, a C library function called mimiset. The C library function void mimiset copies the character to the first n characters of the string pointed by the array. Now I will write it down, then I will explain it to you and why we are using it here. The first thing that you need to write here is meme set. Inside it will take the buffer as input and 0, then the buffer data array size, which is 510. Now what this function will do is the following. The first thing, the buffer data, this is the pointer to the block of memory to fill. So we need to fill this block of memory with data. Now the second parameter, which is this number 0, this is the value to be set. The value is passed as integer, but the function fills the block of memory using the unsigned char conversion of the value. Now we come to the last variable or the last input, which is 510. This is the number of bytes to be set to the value, which is basically the size of the array. And this function will return a pointer to the memory area where buffer data is stored. Now we need to read data until we see a new line, which is basically what we did in our Arduino code. We have sent data, and at the end of each block of data we are adding a new line. So write serial.read bytes until, and here we are going to add the conditions. First thing is /n, which is a new line, and the data that we will read will be stored here in the buffer data, and the data size, let's make it 500. We already have an array with a size over 510, so 500 is the safe value to be inserted here. Usually you have to set a value that's below the array size. After this, at the end, you need to publish this data. So publish serial data. This is the function that we defined here, and it will take the data that we did receive as input, which is the buffer data. So this function will read the incoming serial data and store it here until a new line is sent from Arduino to ESP. Then it will send the data to the publish serial data function, which takes the data as input, and this function will make sure that the MQTT server is connected. After making sure that it's connected, it will publish the data to the MQTT serial channel, and as you can see, this is the serial data, which is the main function of our coding practice here. Now again, what we have done here, let me zoom out. We have defined some variables, and we have used the MQTT library and the Wi-Fi library, the setup Wi-Fi to make sure that we are connecting, or we are connected to our Wi-Fi network and we are online. The reconnect function is to make sure that we are connected to the MQTT server, and we have the setup function where we have connect to Wi-Fi and to the MQTT server. Then we have the loop, which will make sure that we are we have incoming serial data, and it will store the incoming serial data inside this variable buffer data, which is basically an array of character, and will send it to the publish serial data function, which is this one. First, we will make sure that we are connected to the MQTT server. Then we will publish the data to this channel that we already defined here. So this is our main coding practice for the ESP32. In the next lesson, we are going to test this out and make sure that it's working just fine. If you have any question regarding any of these lines, please ask in the Q&A board. Now, just to make sure that we don't have any errors, let's verify our code one more time. Okay, now we have an error. As you can see, serial data was not declared. It's here. So we have a spelling error. verify again. Done compiling without any errors. That's it. Now we might have to change the values for our Wi-Fi network name and password, and for the MQTT username and password, and the channel or the server links, depending on our needs. Now, if you are using your own API, you can simply send the serial data to your own API using JSON coding or any other method that fits your needs. But for now, I'm using the MQTT server, so this is the coding practice for this server. It's a very well-known and widely used one. So I will change the Wi-Fi network values and the username and password values with mine. Then we will test this code out. Thanks for watching this lesson. This is Ashraf from Educational Engineering Team.